So the Super Bowl has come and passed, but one thing that you'll notice is that a lot of marketing companies, marketing agencies, or marketing news outlets, as well as the big media outlets, like to talk about who are the winners and the losers from this year's Super Bowl in terms of ads. If you look at any of these articles, no one ranking is the same. And that's because it's subjective. You might like humor in an ad, and that's why you like that ad. You might just be loyal to a certain brand, and that's why you liked it. But what to take away is that any of these articles, the rankings are completely subjective. It's more or less BS. The only way to truly rank Super Bowl ads is to be inside that boardroom of whoever decided what ad to run, whether they were gonna run it or not, and who they were marketing to. So often or not, the only way that you're gonna actually figure out if a Super Bowl ad was successful is gonna be way later in the year. Unfortunately, most media outlets don't comment on whether or not the ad was worth the investment. They really only talk, like I said, about the subjective, was this one funny, catchy, memorable, you name it, but not really does this lead to business success. And obviously, with an ad costing $7 million for 30 seconds, and ads often going 60, 90 seconds, you wanna make sure that if you are buying an ad on the world's largest stage, that it really does have an impact and it was worth your while. Now, obviously there are plenty of companies out there that have hundreds of millions of dollars in ad budget to spend, so this is like a drop in the pan for them. But for plenty of other businesses, this really needs to hit. I'm not gonna go into every single ad and my rankings, but there are 3 companies I think that did make a splash with what they were doing, whether you like the ads or not. First, you've got Kawasaki, and one thing to take away is, a brand like this, what they did is they've never really been at the Super Bowl before. And not only were they trying to make a splash at the Super Bowl, they were trying to release a new product. So a lot of businesses that do have the capital will run a Super Bowl ad to promote a new product or a new brand to the largest audience possible, which could fail, but it could hit. And if it does hit, you're reaching the largest audience on TV globally and nationally all year. Another brand was Dunkin'. Everyone saw Ben Affleck, Tom Brady, and Matt Damon acting a fool. What Dunkin' did is, whether you thought the ad was funny or not, they've created like this whole marketing strategy revolving around that. So even though this ad did make a big splash, so to speak, on engagement, it's also part of a larger brand strategy. They're gonna take that bit and they're gonna spread it amongst YouTube and other social media platforms. People are gonna talk about it in forums. They're gonna break it out and put it on TV in different types of bite-sized segments throughout the year. So they're making an initial splash and then they're spreading it out over the rest of the year to really get more bang for their buck. Because if you think about it, not only did it cost, however many millions to get the spot during the Super Bowl, you also had to hire Matt Damon, Tom Brady, all of these people, the producers, you had to create the spot. So it's probably 2 to 3 times more expensive than what originally is budgeted for. So one thing to take away is that they had a splash ad, make a big splash to a large audience, and then they spread the wealth out through the year by diversifying that content in a lot of places. Lastly, State Farm is always at the Super Bowl. It's always featured during sporting events. They didn't really do anything out of the ordinary. All they did was introduce a new character, in this case, Arnold Schwarzenegger. So all of their loyalists, expect them to be there, but rather than harp on the same type of message, they turned it a little bit on its head to give something new to its loyalists. Just to keep it fresh and exciting. So these 3 brands, whether these pan out in a business sense or not, I think they really made an impact by introducing a really broad audience to a new product, creating a splash type of ad that doesn't really say anything new about the product, but it kind of gives people a reason to keep in tune with that brand and that business. So obviously, a lot of the people listening to us, you're not at a company that has the funds to have a Super Bowl ad. But that doesn't mean that there aren't things that apply to your business, or there are certain lessons that we can take from the Super Bowl and apply to your advertising and your marketing strategies. So obviously, one of the biggest takeaways is that there are plenty of Super Bowl type events, maybe in your local area. You can be at a conference, or you can put all your ads on TV during some event in your area or in your region or your state or what have you. And then some people decide, should I take that spend that, if I'm gonna spend however many hundreds of thousands of dollars on this one big event, you better hope that whatever strategy you pick in that one event really does hit. And if it doesn't, you're kind of out of cash for the year. So would you rather potentially spread that out and hit your audience where they are with a message that they remember and sticks? Or do you really want to put all your eggs in one basket and go for that? Obviously, these big brands like Dunkin', they have plenty of money to do, the one big splash and then spread it throughout the year. But if you aren't that kind of company and aren't as confident in your strategy, the best thing to do is going to be, spread the wealth throughout the year. Now, you can have a couple big splashes here and there, but like I said, the key is your audience is going to want to remember your message, and they're going to want to hear it a lot. So not only does it need to be creative, they need to see it a lot in the places where they are. So if you can do that in all one big event, then go for it. But if not, you're better suited for the strategy I just relayed.